This nostalgia is adolescent sex talks with Dad.
Oh, they were... You mean like the actual Birds and the Bees?
Yeah.
Shit. Mine was actually in the Ramparts.
You could have only been 12 at that time,
Yeah.
at best.
Yeah. But they basically approached it as, you already know what sex is, right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I just wanted this not to happen, because so I would just say yes to anything. Like, you're gay, right? Yeah, just let me go. But I remember them, and Mom was there too, which made they were both there, and they explained to me. This is a
2-on-1.
You kind of put me in a spot here, because
Let's work through it.
I'm not embarrassed, but it's just so weird bringing.
Have you ever had sex?
Never.
Okay. There's nothing to be ashamed of then.
This is why I never had sex. I never knew how it worked.
Right.
But they never. I don't know how. Like, probably have to deal with this in a couple of years with Lexi. Well, actually, Beth will have to deal with this in a couple of years with Lexi. But it wasn't one of those things where it was just like, okay, this is what it is. This is what it means, and this is what you have to do. You know, this is safe sex, this is unsafe sex, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. I just don't know how these things usually work, because I got such a bizarre talk. So Dad basically was a high school health book, and was explaining Vans deferens and testes and urethras, and he basically...
Multiple urethras?
Yeah, it's several urethras. I understand we all get 3, and then 1 dies when you're 13.
Well, if that's the kind of talk you have, it's easy to see
I don't know
why.
what I'm doing.
It's just going everywhere.
Usually I just microwave a watermelon.
And dial a 900 number.
And dial a 900 number on my credit card, Dad.
Do you have the sexy operators call you right back?
I do. But he basically described to me how the sperm and egg meet, how they populate and create a baby. But they didn't, I didn't understand it. 'Cause,
I have no clue how it works.
and then he was talking, and I tried so hard just to tune myself out. So he looked at me, and I had the million-mile stare. I was just gone. I wanted to block it out. I think I was holding my breath in hopes I would pass out. So he goes, "You're not really getting me, are you?" And for some reason I said no. I should have said yes, everything's cool, I want to go. But I said no. So he started drawing pictures. And he drew a picture of a penis.
No!
Yes, he did.
No!
A side view. Like a side view vivisection.
Like a cross.
Yeah, a cross section. And then he drew the parts. He was ready. I mean, he did his research. He showed me the testes.
I guess this is what... Do most of you with Engineers for Fathers, did you get a similar sort of approach here?
And when it was done, and I remember my mom in the kitchen smirking. Because this was at the Ramparts, and we had that breakfast bar. And there, she was in the kitchen listening the whole time. She didn't have the common courtesy to just leave. She thought she could chime in. So she just sat there and laughed. And she goes, "Oh, Bob, you're drawing pictures now and diagrams. Ha, ha, ha." And I just want to go, please. and
you had your mullet at the time, right?
I did.
Man, how you weren't pulling ladies
I think
like
it was
this.
in the infancy stage. I did alright with ladies back then.
Yes, sir.
They
probably picked up on that.
So, to make a long story short...
Mrs. Chen?
Mrs. Chen.
Of Boston, Mass?
So anyways, once the diagrams were over, and I got the scientific explanation of how babies are made, not like actual sex and emotions and actually how it works, I didn't know that the penis actually went in the vagina. I just thought somehow I take sperm and throw it at her, and it goes inside of an egg somehow. That's what I got out of it.
For real?
No.
I would have believed it.
It was awful. So when I was done, I went right up to my bed, and I sat there and didn't say a word. And it was serious, because Joe and Ian were banned. And they're like, "Well, what was the big deal?" They thought I got in trouble, and I'm like, "Did you get in trouble?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "Well, what happened?" I was like, "I had the talk. And I think you pretended you knew what it was." You're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "You just wait." I threatened them. You just wait. You'll get your talk soon. But
That talk never came.
I had to learn the hard way.
Wow, 2 puns right on.
Boom.